in beautiful Anchorage Point, Alaska on the North Fork. I've got Kyra Wagner here. She's the Homer Water and Soil and Water District. You're the manager, right? And so we're out here doing field work today. So I wanted to talk to Kyra a little bit about what her organization does, what she does, and then we're going to tell you a little bit about a 640-acre subdivision the state's looking at doing. So Kyra, why don't you introduce yourself and kind of tell people what the manager and what the soil and water does down there.
All right. Well, there are soil and water districts all around the state, but Homer Soil and Water, we have several projects going on. We have an invasive weeds program, and our invasive species specialist coordinates a coordinated weed management area for the entire Kenai Peninsula. So we have quite a reach there, working with a bunch of different organizations to try and combat invasive weeds. We also have a soils program. We work a lot in partnership with the Natural Resource Conservation Service, the NRCS, which is federal, and we work at the state level and the local level, but they bring in programs like the High Tunnel program, and then we work with the farmers and help them identify their soil needs, their nutrient needs, things like that, help with programs on that. And then we also do a lot of outreach on farmer programs, help connect with different grants that we apply for to do outreach and to do more education for farmers. So we work a lot with the Farmers Market Association statewide, different programs like that. We also have natural resource specialists that work on things like soil erosion and reclamation of things like Anchor River stream bank work and different projects like that. So we get to work with a lot. We also have a forester. We just started that. So our new forester is working on moose habitat restoration and forestry projects. So we have a lot going on down here. As district manager, I just get to watch all the beautiful things happen, but there's a lot of really cool staff I get to work with.
Good. So I know you operate with a board, right? So
Yes.
why don't you explain how the board and how it's tied to the community and agriculture?
That's a great point. Because of the way it's set up, soil and water districts are meant to represent the local area. We work with the feds. They're meant to teach us what all the national programs are that come down, but we're supposed to represent what the locals need. And so we are required to have a 5-member board that owns land in the area. So I have a very grounded and very practical local board that guides my work.
So today, what we have is, what you're kind of looking in the background is some private land, which you can see the village of Nicolaias over there. But right behind this is 640 acres of state land. And so the Division of Mining and Land and Water and the Division of Agriculture are looking at what do we want to do with this 640 acres? Do we want to make it agricultural parcels? Do we make it general use land parcels? Or do we do both? And so today, we're having a team come out in the field. We're going to go look. So we were talking about soil scientists. Kyra has a soil scientist. So why don't you tell them kind of what we're going to go do and look at the soils and how we're going to start that approach.
Right. Well, we're very excited about the idea of having some of this dedicated to agricultural land. So working with Division of Mining, Land and Water, my soil scientists will be able to dig a hole, show them, okay, this is the type of soils. We've already done the soil maps for the area, so we'll know this is a Ketchmack silt loam, explain what that means, show them what kind of agricultural soils we're dealing with, why certain areas on this parcel would make great agricultural parcels, other ones would not so much. For example, the North Fork of the Anchor River, is that valley down there, cuts right through this parcel, steep slopes and a lot of flooding and erosion. We're not going to put any not going to suggest to put any agricultural parcels down there, but for all that fireweed is, that could be just general perfect agricultural soils. So having those conversations about what the lay of the land can provide is what we're going to be hopefully discussing, so that they can go back and look at their maps and subdivide in a more thoughtful way about how to lay out.
And I think one of the things that the division has been listening to the Division of Ag and working with Fish and Game, one of the issues we have is the North Fork's critical habitat. And so as we design this, what we actually are trying to do with all of our new subdivisions, state, land, general, and ag, is to build the corridors for the wildlife, make sure that we're designing and thinking about how does this work together, instead of putting something on top of an area that you really don't want to have that. So we have the challenges with keeping the wildlife and the domestic stock apart. So if you're smart and you build corridors to make that work, then it's going to be a better outcome for the environment. It's going to be a better outcome for the farmers and the people that are going to live here.
Right.
So that's pretty good. I think this is really going to be a fun day. We have, just so everybody knows, 150,000 acres in the Nanatucket Chicken Project. And so NRCS is actually doing our soil studies on 30,000 acres up there this fall and into spring. We have LiDAR flying and the aerial photography done this summer, 150,000 acres worth, so that's pretty cool. And I know that Mo and Mining Land and Water is looking at 4 other different ag parcels around the state that we're looking to be able to put out next spring. So what I want people to know is you keep on the website and look for next spring and go, you know, there's going to be some ag land coming up. Hey, there's going to be some really good general use land available, because the governor has really told us it's a mandate to try to get land out to the people. And so we're working really hard to do it right and to do that as best we can. So with what we're talking about here today, you know, kind of what is the history here of agriculture? Do you know how far it goes back? Maybe we'll kind of tell people that don't know where we're at and why we're here.
Well, I can imagine you actually know a lot more than I do about the history, but I do know the village of Nicolaitis has got some of our most productive farmers market farmers, present day farmers market. So we've already got proof that the soils are good. Up here, we're close to Epperson Knob on this side. There's been farming and agriculture going on here for decades. So all throughout here, it's already been going on in different pockets. This little pocket of state land has been owned by the state and therefore protected from that, but it doesn't mean that it wouldn't be good for it.
It is. And so, just so if you went right over the hill that way, my family farms there. So she's talking about me knowing, because this is where I grew up. And so when people say somebody's from Homer, I'm like, oh, they're from Nelson. You know, we all grew up together, and this is kind of fun now that I'm 60 plus. You know, I became the old guy, but we all grew up running around the woods here, and you know, snow machine and all that. So yeah, the tree started in '68, if I remember right. So it goes back a very long time, and now we have that. So anything else you want to add? Because I always let my guests have the last word in our little visits, and I really appreciate you coming out here, and hopefully we got a great view and people can hear us in the wind, because it's a little windy today, but beautiful sunshine instead of the rain that was in Soldotna and Homer when we all came through.
Right. No, this is great. I'm just really excited to see that the state of Alaska is prioritizing getting land to farmers so we can grow our own food in our state. That's what makes me happy.
Well, food security is a priority of this administration. We really want people to know that while you don't see us out and about a lot because of COVID, doesn't mean staff hasn't been working. We actually did all our inspections. Our division was lucky, successful. We didn't run into any farmers with COVID, and we didn't get COVID and transmit to anybody else. So it's been a challenging summer to get all the inspections for logs and other products in and out of state, but we did it. And we're almost done with those inspections, which is pretty good. I think we got 1 or 2 more this fall. But you know, hats off to Health and Social Services for the protocols we've done. We've been able to keep everybody healthy and safe, and we really appreciate people using the internet and the phone more than coming in, but we'll make it work for everybody. So with that, I really want to thank everybody for tuning in again. Have a great day.